It's Song Talk Radio.
Welcome to Song Talk Radio, the show with songwriters talking to other songwriters about the craft of songwriting. We share tips, tools, and techniques, and together we all become better at writing songs. I'm your host, Neil Modi, and with me, my co-host, Phil Emery. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing pretty good. We got another great show coming up, and I know because our guest and I actually already did a show once, so I know some of her secrets.
Right. I'm sure we'll discover the rest of them tonight. Please send your comments and questions to at Song Talk Radio on Facebook or Instagram, or feedback at songtalk.ca for the email, and we'll share your thoughts on the show. And please visit songtalk.ca to see the show post for this episode, to find links to resources we mention, and to download lyric and chord sheets to follow along with the songs that we feature tonight. We are very happy to welcome Edmonton-based all-female soul roots vocal group, AV and the Inner City. Established in Edmonton's inner city neighborhood of Macaulay, AV in the Inner City is a recently formed all-female soul roots vocal group originating from the weekly collaborative porch concerts put on during the pandemic by multi-award-winning local artist AV and Vreen. In a testament to their incredible talent, the diverse group of Edmontonian songwriters brought home their very first award while touring Western Canada in the summer of 2023. The Edmonton Folk Music Festival's Emerging Artist Award before having released any of their own music. The soul-infused vocal group is comprised of JUNO-nominated Indigenous vocalist Debbie Houle, jazz singer Johwanna Alleyne, pop R&B band Mercy Funk lead singer Crystal Eyo, Czech Republic songwriter Alenka Lundell, and multi-instrumentalist and vocalist Jenn Dahlen. And is led by celebrated Edmonton artist AV. Legendary concert promoter Vic Bell calls the group an act that could have closed the main stage any night of the festival. Welcome to Song Talk Radio, AV and the Inner City.
Thank you. That's a lot of names.
And we're very glad to have AV, aka Anne Vreen, who was on our show a couple years ago, towards the beginning of the pandemic, as a solo artist, and she brought two of her bandmates, Jenn and Debbie, along for the conversation today. So welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show, and we're just gonna get rolling here. Let's take a listen to AV and Inner City's song. This is called "Music Always."
You make me smoke cigarettes, and I don't smoke. Make me spend money as if I wasn't broke. My insides are turning, feels like I can fly. If only there were words for this, I'd announce them in the sky. Oh, music always says it better anyway. Yes, music always says it like I meant to say. When they crank up the beats and the violins start to play, oh, music always says it better anyway, it's not a day anyway. What was that confession that fell from my slippery when you're dancing like this? I'm naked in ways that I've not been before. I used to think I don't play my ace until I know the score. Oh, music always says it better anyway. Music always says it like I meant to say. Blame it on drinking, like so many do. But it's just a band-aid, a symptom and excuse. What is this coming from under my skin? How could you undo me without saying anything? Oh, music always says it better anyway. Music always says it like I meant to say.
stones may break my bones, but words have hurt me too. And love I'm looking for it left my heart black and blue. When I see red and living color, beauty every hue. Come on, even Leonard Cohen says he's coming back to you.
A gift that is so ancient, universally used.
There's a language that can say it all. What do they call it? Well, it's
Music always says it better anyway. Yes, it does. Music always says it like I meant to say. Oh, and they crank up the beats, and the violins start to play. Oh, music always says it better anyway. It's not a day, baby.
Nice. That's a great tune.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a happy song to sing.
It's intensely positive. Just-
Right?
And can you
And
talk
a little
about how you
ironic.
go about doing this process?
Sorry, say that again?
Can you talk about how you go through this process?
You mean the process of writing it, or in
Yes.
terms of sort of like arranging it for everybody?
Arranging it, like you had mentioned that once before about your process, which is very unusual.
Right. Yes. Well, yeah, the way that we have sort of been learning the arrangements that I write them out. I don't write them out in sheet music, the way it probably would be the most straightforward thing to do. I write them out in numbers of scale tones. So for example, this song's in C, so I would write 4 3 3 2 2 1 6 1 2 3 3. For example, for the melody. And then, but that, and everybody's part has, a scale, a number in the scale that I write it out on. And then, of course, I also write the lyrics. Everyone has that. But that method is in part because not everybody's, a note reader in the group in the classical sense, and also because I think personally for ear training reasons that it's helpful as a singer to think of your part in that way, and also make sure that everybody remember, like if someone's not sure if they're singing their part versus someone's part that's higher or lower, I can say, well, yeah, you have the 3 and you have 5 and you have 1 or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's how I write them. I write the things out, and it's good for me too, because sometimes when I'm writing them out, I realize that I can make it better as I try to write it down for other people.
So I'm wondering, like, what? So last time you were on the program here, you were a solo artist.
Mm-hmm.
So what's changed in terms of your writing process now that you're writing for a group?
Well, I guess that mainly that is writing way more background vocals to the songs and the production than I would ever normally do, because obviously I want to showcase the voices of Debbie and Jenn and the other 3 members of the inner city group. So I've been really focusing more on how to have more vocal harmonies and also more elaborate vocal harmonies with different parts, not just everybody singing block. Like in this song, there's obviously a little rap that you probably heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of wish it was longer.
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's super short. But okay, so when you say writing harmonies, is that something you guys do as a collaborative thing, or like you say, you're writing it down in this codified, numbering system, which is pretty clever actually. It's like a very easy way to do it. You're not
I don't know, easy and clever, lazy. There's different terms.
Well, but at the end of the day, if it works for you guys, and all that matters is, does it sound good, right?
Yeah.
However you get there is however you get there. But But in terms of the harmony writing, is that something you had to sort of learn to do, after you started the group, or is it something, that you guys work on together, or how does that come together?
Well, I think a little bit of, I don't know what you guys want to say about that, like, because you guys could probably speak to how because you like the experiences of singing in groups before, because like Debbie has tons of experience doing that. Jen's been in choirs, but what I'll just say first is that, up until this group started, when I did vocal harmonies, I would just be in the studio and make them up on the spot, pretty much. Let's kind of do something quick, like 3-part harmonies, low, mid, high. Because R&B has a lot of call and response, ray and the raylet type of block, but call and response harmonies. And so I just would do that, and I wouldn't really give it a whole lot of thought, to be really honest with you. But I mean, I love doing it. It's my actually favorite thing to do in the studio as a kind of a nerdy thing. Like, I love making them up. So, but honestly, until I had this group, I really didn't think long and hard about vocal arranging. And now I think long and hard about it sometimes. Yeah. Anyways, do you guys want, Jen and Debbie want to probably share their, I mean, this is different, their experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I came from singing with an Indigenous women's trio, Asani, for 23 years. So we did our songwriting and with more kind of traditional sounds and stuff like that. But so I've come from experience and in harmonizing. So it just was a natural fit, and it's a different genre of and style of music. So it's been really fulfilling, and to learn kind of this new a new technique to learning the harmonies, which is we've just been able to get a lot more efficient and kind of to streamline our learning and rehearsing and recording process. So yeah, it's been really fun.
I gotta say, thank you. Like when Anne first invited me up on the porch to sing, I remember Jojo looking over at me and saying, "You got this." And we just kind of did it on the fly, and it was kind of just whatever happened. It was awesome. And then Anne just one day said, "How about we practice?" And then, she's been wonderful. I got to say, she's a wonderful teacher. She's sat down with me several times just to teach some music theory. I took band, and I played in the band all my life, but I play by ear a lot. So Anne's been kind of really helpful with teaching us ear training, giving us suggestions to listen to an app and practice, every day, practice the muscle memory of learning those intervals. And so the whole process has been a great learning experience. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
So, Anne, are you, when you give the music to your other singers, are you giving them lyrics then with like sort of numbers on top of?
Yeah, it's really messy. I'm not a very good at laying out things on sheets of paper visually. That's not one of my skills. But I'll do that, and then lyrics, and but I also make a recording.
Of each harmony part.
Yeah, so we have a Dropbox for our group, and then per song there's a folder with the song with all the parts together, like keys, my lead, vocals, and then the harmony parts. But then I also have in that Dropbox folder just like each part separated. And then I also and then we eventually started realizing that it was helpful to have a recording with every part except the one that you sing, so you can practice.
Right.
There's like per folder there's like six things. You know what I mean? Like 6 variations. Like 1 just so your part soloed so you can really learn it. 1, 2, 1 to practice to, and then 3, 1 to hear how it's supposed to sound all together. But all with obviously when I do it, I'm just multi-track myself. There's a lot of me, with the hopes that there'll be a lot less of me later.
Yes. Jen?
I think for the last couple of songs, you actually did not give us the numbers on the lyrics, and you asked us to listen to it and write it out ourselves.
See about the laziness here? Remember that word?
But I love it.
Is that laziness, or is that just challenging everybody?
It could be both things, maybe.
Potato, tomato.
Yeah. Well, especially like you guys are even saying you do a lot by ear. Like, is it enough just for you, Anne, to sing the different harmony parts and have them isolated in the recording, and then you guys can just go off of that? Like, do you?
Yeah, more and more.
Do you really need the numbers? Like, if you can do it by ear?
Less and less so. But on the flip side, as I'm like, expanding into more complicated harmonies and sophisticated arrangements, then singing is so different than playing an instrument outside of your body, because you can look at a piano and be like, it's A, not B flat. Like, you can just be like, just that note and not that note. But when your voice, like, how do you say, like, is it there or there? Like, it doesn't have a physical exterior thing. You just have to somehow, which I don't understand actually really how we know pitch as human beings and decipher it, because there isn't a button that you push, like, to imitate pitches or accents or just like other people, but we learn it from an early age. That's why we develop accents, or we learn spoken language exactly that way, right? Like, we don't learn it from school, we learn it just from imitation. So, singing is really an extension of that. But so teaching what's in your head, out of your head when it comes to singing is a different kind of a thing than playing guitar or piano or something like that,
How long does it take to actually get one of these songs done? Like, it seems like doing all the different takes, like doing the arrangement is one thing.
Yeah.
But then, maybe writing it down and then doing the takes with all the different versions. Well, I guess you multi-track it so you can sort of...
No, it takes a while. I mean, I'm getting faster at it. But again, like, as I get faster at it, I also want to push myself and the group to have more sophisticated arrangements. So, but we are getting faster and faster at learning the songs.
Like, I think we're at about like a month. I think we did for a month. Like, and but when we learn it, we get together, rehearse it, and iron out the wrinkles. Have a few more rehearsals, a couple more rehearsals, and then record it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how Low and Lowly went, right? Like, Low and Lowly was quite fast.
Yep, very true.
Is there anything that changes? So, and when you do your Dropbox and figure out all the arrangements and stuff like that, when you guys get together in real life and start practicing it, does stuff change at that point, or is it or?
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, lots of times I'll be like, you guys, I changed my mind. I like this note better than that note. Or, someone will make a suggestion, like, I'd rather take this part in this song. Like, a lot of the singers in the group have a couple especially have really big ranges in their voice range. So they can take, like, the octave down or the octave up, of a part. And then, and then sometimes... And the other thing that we started doing, which is a new development, is that we have. Sorry, he's playing upstairs right now. We have been adding in percussion, including that Jenn has taken the very important, basic, but like important heartbeat of the drum kit. She's playing the bass, the kick drum. And then Debbie's playing shaker, and JoJo's playing tambourine, and then I have Crystal and Alenka like on claps that sort of plays the role of the snare drum. So we're adding that in, which to our performances, and so that when we play live, we don't have to hire a drummer or not have.
So live, you have no instruments. Well, tambourine. Okay.
Yeah, like drum. Percussion
instruments, but no tonal instruments.
Just piano, keys.
Keys, okay.
Yeah. Although now we have one song that we're doing a cappella, so that's obviously without keys.
Is that a first? Is that a first for you doing an a cappella song?
Yep. Yeah, originally it's a friend of ours on the Porch concert who was coming up. He's a really great and very prolific songwriter. And he has a song that I was like, oh my God, that would be perfect for our group. So I asked him if we could arrange it, and I did. And we would always play it with me playing keys. And then we were at a festival this summer, and we were interviewed by Terry David Mulligan from Mulligan Stew. And I don't know if you know CKUA radio. And but it was just like in backstage, like it wasn't on stage. I didn't have my keyboard set up or anything like that. It was just, by some bushes outside. So we just spontaneously decided to do it a cappella. And actually I was like, oh, this totally is great for that. So I think we're going to do that one truly a cappella when we get down to recording it for the album.
Wild.
And then we did it again for the Lavender Farmers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great, wonderful thing about a cappella, which I'm sure Debbie knows. Like, it's just so technically easy. You just show up with your body and you and other people, and boom,
So how many people are actually in the group?
Six.
Six people, right? Wow. Yes, that would be a pretty full sounding band with six voices and six people doing percussion.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, well, the percussion isn't really actually full. Like if you think about a drum kit, like there's no toms, there's no cymbals. Like it's not as a typical drum set. It kind of just has only the meat and potatoes of like the kick, snare, and some eighth notes. With shaker.
Well, the shaker fills the hi-hat role.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, that's true. The eighth, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, in terms of having six voices, it definitely can be powerful. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And are all you guys, we can tell from the recording we just played back too, like all of you guys are not singing all of the time. You come in, you come out, someone else takes a solo. There's a lot of arrangement stuff going on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it started like our origins, like Jenn and Debbie were saying, or like being on the porch. Like it took me a really ridiculous amount of time to realize that we could actually rehearse.
Mm-hmm. It's hard getting the six people together in a room. Come on.
No, it wasn't that. Yeah. And we had all these rules, and we weren't supposed to sing together or be together. And then when I even figured out that we could be on the porch but 2 meters or more apart, it took me an inordinate amount of time to realize we could also do the same thing and rehearse.
Right?
I don't know. I think we were just good. I don't know. But it did. So we would just show up and make, everyone would just show up and make something up that sounded like a harmony. And if otherwise it was unison, and it was just really a kind of just jam, Mm-hmm. And it took a good full year of having porch concerts before I was like, we could rehearse.
Right.
We still kept socially distanced during our rehearsals. We had many rehearsals in the backyard. And then it's just great timing. We had access to a parkade. So we would sneak down to this parkade and sing in the parkade. And it sounded so amazing.
The reverb in there was probably good. Right?
It was ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
We didn't add drums at that stage because it would have been a bit of a disaster. But yeah, the reverb.
Right. And anyone that was parking their car, we were like, hey, you want to hear us sing? We just started a group. You want to hear us sing?
And people were like, what?
Yeah.
That is really interesting that what you're talking about, Anne, about that moment when, number one, you realize that this thing is worth developing further. Right. And it's we're just having fun. We're just jamming. We're just, doing this thing on the porch or whatever. But is there a gem of something there that we can actually develop further? And then number two, actually develop it further. Right. Because it's I'm in a band too, and we rehearse and we iron out the rough spots and learn new songs and learn cover songs and all that sort of stuff. But I've also been in sort of casual jam groups where you're just playing along and everyone does a song once and then we, mistakes and all, and then we move on to the next song and no one cares, right? And it's a very different vibe where you're not thinking, we're not here to like really develop something and iron out all the stuff and make it something better. We're just here to just jam and that sort of thing. But
it's true. Like honestly, it was such a weird time, of course, where the goal of it was just to do anything musical at all with other people that wasn't online. Because I just, we were just so over online about everything then. And, I just wasn't very inspired to do that. So it was just really that. And it was kind of like a social thing to do in a time where it was really hard to figure out how to be social, And so, yeah, you're right. It just kind of at some point I was like, if we just put a little bit of like organization into this and figure out our parts like more exactly, like because there were moments where it was like, oh, this sounds really good. Like I really, and the moment actually, now I remember the moment was like, it was the second year of the pandemic in like around the spring of like 2021, where they're like, things might open up and we might be able to have concerts again, but they're going to be limited to 50 people or less and have to be outside. And so I still wasn't getting my international tours back in normal venues and things like that. But I was getting booked at these little shows that, in around town, like little community things of people getting some like city funding to do things in little parks and stuff like that. So then I was like, okay, I'll just do this solo show. The money's not very good. So, but it's better than nothing. And then I thought about playing it solo, and I was completely like, I don't want to play it solo. Like it's so much more fun to have the other people and sing with them than play. Like I'm so bored of myself. Like, I don't want to do more by myself stuff. So it was really that. And I was like, do you guys want to sing with me at these little shows I have? So then we got a few gigs, and that was our first gigs. And then it just took off. Like people really loved it. And we started getting other gigs and more gigs. And then we the following year did a showcase, and we got festival gigs, and it just like, it's all been fast actually.
Is there a thing, and I might be completely mistaken about this, but okay, so you're in the early times, you're just jamming, you're just hanging out, and you're singing these things, and it can be like you say, like if you want to, it can be a little bit dirty, right? In a good way, like it's a little bit messy, right? But then when you sit down and arrange everything, does that kind of clean it up too much? When you lose kind of the spontaneity and the spirit of like some messy harmonies or something like that, you're just kind of tidying up too much. Is that a thing?
I think so, but you guys, what do you guys have to say about that? Like Jen and Debbie?
I don't know. I think the songs that have that messiness, I'm going to call it color, or would be kind of the more upbeat songs. But I feel like the songs that we need tight are those kind of slow ones that are really require us to be kind of really bang on, really tighten our harmonies, and kind of moving together through them. So, yeah. Jen?
I think that the way I am amazed by the way Anne teaches, and she's very particular, I gotta say. Like
I am,
and she expects us to learn the effects that she's looking for in these songs in the background vocals, and like to the nanosecond. Like she just is very particular with like the dynamics. She has to be, because we practice that, and then we'll probably give her like 82% of what she asked for. So and I think with repeating, like continually performing these songs, we kind of get naturally looser with it and comfortable. However, we always kind of go back to our roots and how we learned it. And I love that.
Yeah. And I think that there's also considering that our voices and our those background pieces form part of the rhythm as well. So they have to be tight. They have to be bang on, and so it's important for that we're very meticulous. That Anne's meticulous, and that she's kind of demands that of us.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say you were picky? I didn't mean to say you were picky.
No, you did that.
Meticulous is a better.
I'll take picky. Like I don't even know. Like, here's the thing. Like, there's a time and a place for like a jam, like you said. Like, and there's a time, but like now that we're getting hired for gigs that pay well and at really professional venues and things like that, I think people expect tight, polished performances and harmonies and delivery. I believe the audience deserves that, and so, and it's satisfying, it's very satisfying when it's just so. But I think, like what Jenn said, like I think the more on the songs that we know, like inside and out now, that we've really performed a lot together. Once you know a song, all the technical things so well that you just know it kind of second nature.
Yeah.
Then you can really just focus on the sort of like the vibe of it and emotion of it, and kind of like freedom and discipline kind of thing, where like the more disciplined you are at the beginning with being like really painstaking and more technical, the later that you can bring in, like you can just kind of be more about the emotion and the dynamics and things like that.
Yeah. We talked about this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, this whole idea of flow and getting to a flow state, right? Where you're just vibing with it. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of practice.
It does. Well, that sounds like it's the end already.
Yeah.
Goes so fast.
It does go by fast.
Okay. Well, I hope that we said things that were helpful.
Sure. Okay, well, I think that's all the time here in the band. So we have on Song Talk Radio. Special thanks to AV in the Inner City. Where can our listeners find out more about you guys?
We're on Andrea. We have a page on Anne's site, avandrea.com, and we also have a Spotify account, and all our music is online. We have on YouTube. We have some kind of a mini documentary video with a song "Don't Wait" on there. So yeah,
cool. All right.
Instagram, Facebook,
Awesome. We'll definitely link to some of that stuff from the episode page for this episode. And we want to hear from you too. So please send your comments, Facebook or Instagram, to @SongTalkRadio, or send us an email, feedback@songtalk.ca. Also be sure to check out our YouTube channel for live performance videos and full episodes. And subscribe today to the Song Talk Radio podcast on your favorite podcast provider. You can find links to all the products, books, and web services we mentioned on the show on our resources page on the website. And please join us at our next monthly Song Talk meetup. Whether you're in Toronto for our in-person meetups or anywhere in the world for our online meetups, it's free to join on meetup.com and free to attend. Bring a song and a lyric sheet and get constructive feedback from other songwriters. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link. You can follow me at neilmodi.com. You can follow Phil
at philemery.ca.
And AV and guys, what's your favorite social media channel? Where do you guys post the most?
I would say it is Facebook. I would say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Insta.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So be sure to visit them there, and be sure to stop by the website songtalk.ca to browse past shows and find out how you can be a guest. Thanks for tuning in, and keep on writing.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. and we're out.
Yeah,
Great.
I really have. I need to make a point of checking out your other podcast in my spare time. It sounds super interesting, and I love nerdy.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's great.
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I did a songwriting circle with Rob Heath, and I've done a couple of his songwriting circles, and so I appreciate that process and the value that it brings to, like, I'm a newer songwriter, so I will definitely be checking you out. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, especially, you guys should come to our meetup, because we have it on Zoom every month, and it's just a really cool vibe. Like, everyone's just trying to help each other out with their songs.
Really?
Love it.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yeah, we have people from like Australia and the States, and it's really cool.
Wow.
And because of the pandemic too, we connected with a group out in Seattle. We connected with a really great community up in Minnesota. The fellow there, Chad Shank, he does webinars and songwriting challenges and meetups and all sorts of stuff. He's actually teaching. He's actually teaching at Berkeley online now.
Oh, wow.
Really, really great community of people out there, and even here, and it's just amazing.
That's fantastic.
Lots of stuff.
Sure that I don't neglect that side of my life.
Well, we only have so much time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll certainly give you guys a heads up when the podcast drops. Should be about within a week or so.
Oh, okay.
And you can share it with all your peeps.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks
Thanks
for
so
coming,
much for
guys.
coming on
Good
the
to see you
show. It
again,
was
man.
great stuff.
Yeah. Nice meeting you.
All right.
Take care.
Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.